All rise. We will obey. Please be seated.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. We will go into private session briefly.
Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
Open session, Your Honour.
We'll now bring in the witness to continue her testimony, but we will bring down the blinds first so that the witness will be ushered into the courtroom.
Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
Open session, Your Honour.
Thank you very much. And witness, welcome back. Ms. Alejandra will continue her cross-examination.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Madam.
Good afternoon.
Madam, Mr. David Koros, he was running a witness protection program funded by the U.S. aid in relation to potential ICC witnesses. Am I correct, Madam?
I only heard about it.
And I'm correct, am I not, Madam, that the witnesses that were benefiting from this U.S. aid program were Mr. William Rono, Mr. Samuel Kimeli Kosgei, and Mr. David Gender. That is correct, isn't it?
Correct.
And Madam, I'm also correct, am I not, that at the time these witnesses were receiving money from Mr. Koros under a U.S. aid program? They were not under any threat, were they, Madam?
I don't know about that.
Why we say that, Madam, is that at that very same period, they were actually in a witness protection program in Nairobi, funded by the Kenyan National Commission for Human Rights, at the very same time. That is correct, isn't it, Madam?
That is no argumentative, isn't it?
Your Honor, may I rephrase the question? Madam, at the same time these individuals were receiving money under U.S. aid, they were under a witness protection program being funded or being managed by the Kenyan National Commission for Human Rights in Nairobi. That is correct, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew about that, but the other one you were the other side. I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't come across the other one for Martha Karua or.
No, Madam, just my question. You're aware they were in a witness protection program being run by Kenya Human Rights Commission?
Correct.
And that Kenya Human Rights Commission program was running simultaneously, same time as the U.S. aid protection program, correct?
According to me, you said I thought it was for other programs. I didn't know it was for protection.
But earlier, Madam, when you testified, you told the chamber that you're aware of the U.S. aid protection program. So you knew there was a U.S. aid protection program, isn't it?
Maybe it's because slavery tank.
You heard about it, madam?
I heard about it, you said was giving money sent against the torture. But actually I didn't know it was protection or what activity. I'm sorry to say that.
Purposes of transcript, Ms. Alakendra, you need to look at line 9 and also line 16 on the current page. Your question says U.S. aid. I don't know whether the witness is saying U.S. aid in the manner of saying you said. You see the difficulty there?
Yes, Your Honor, perhaps I can clarify that.
Yes, because what I see is you said as in you saying something, whereas it may also mean USAID, somebody pronouncing it as you said.
Very correct, Your Honor. Madam Witness, when you are referring to the entity that David Koros was receiving money from, you are talking about the organization called USAID, am I correct?
Yes.
Madam, you were aware, or did you know, or hear, that witnesses under the Witness Protection Program being run by Mr. David Koros were putting in false claims for money?
I heard that.
And Madam, in fact, Mr. Koros himself made a lot of money, didn't he, from the various witness protection programs?
Maybe, but I didn't come across it because I was not frequently in.
But you heard about it, Madam, that he made a lot of money.
I heard it.
And Madam, you also know, don't you, that between 2004 and 2009, which will also include the period when the WAKI Commission and the Kenya Human Rights Commission were doing their work, during that period, the director of USAID Kenya was in fact the wife of Mr. Manakiai. You knew that, didn't you?
I never knew it.
And her name, Madam, is Cheryl Anderson. You heard that name?
No, I never knew it. Even who is the wife of my Nakia.
Madam, you'll agree with me that Mr. David Koros was using the allegations of witness intimidation of post-election violence witnesses and potential ICC witnesses as a means of making money, wasn't he?
Yes.
And he even tried to make some money using this issue from the ambassador of Netherlands, didn't he, Madam?
I never knew that.
Madam, I'm going to ask you to have a look at a photograph, and I'm going to ask you to identify some people in that photo, okay?
Okay.
Your Honor, can I ask that Ken D09 0036 0156 be put on the screen, please?
Before you do that, I want to make sure that the answer to question appearing at number 2 is clear in what is said. The reason I say that is there have been instances where the witness said, I heard. There's a lot of those instances on the record. That she heard certain things haven't been said. But when you look at question appearing at line 2, one doesn't know whether it was what she heard or what she knows. I wanted to repeat that question.
Madam, I asked you if you agreed with me that Mr. David Koros was using allegations of witness intimidation of post-election violence witnesses and potential ICC witnesses as a means of making money.
I heard other people say.
Could we have the public, please? Madam, the person standing on the far left, that is Mr. David Koros, isn't it?
Correct.
And the fair lady standing next to him, she's Madam Letitia Vendan Assum, the ambassador of Netherlands to Kenya. Correct?
I haven't seen her even. I don't know. I don't know her.
And for the record, her name is spelled Laetitia. Van, V-A-N. Next word, Den, D-E-N. The next word, A-S-S-U-M. Madam, who is the gentleman standing next to her?
I don't recall.
And the lady standing next to that gentleman, her name is Miriam Suleiman, isn't it?
Correct.
And she is in fact the wife of Mr. Ken Wafula, correct?
I don't know if she's the wife of Ken. I don't know.
Could I please ask that what the ambassador is holding be zoomed into, please? Madam, do you see in this photograph that Mr. David Koros and the ambassador together are holding for the cameras a newspaper with the front facing the camera and
Correct.
sorry.
Correct.
And the headlines being showcased is Ministers Threaten Ocampo Witnesses. Correct?
Correct.
Madam, do you notice the right hand of the ambassador? She seems to be holding something.
It's not clear. It looks like a ring.
Do you see her clenched fist like she's holding something?
Yeah. It's not clear what it is.
Certainly, but it's just that her action that she's holding something, isn't it?
Correct.
Your Honor, can I now ask for a second photograph to be shown, please? Ken D09 0036 0157.
Madame Alejandra, est-ce que...
Officer, is your document public?
She's asking you if this would be a public document.
Indeed, Your Honor. Could I ask for the court officer to please zoom in a little bit into the hands? Madam, do you see in this photograph the ambassador is handing something to Mr. Koros, and the person next to the ambassador is also observing what is being handed over? Do you see that, madam?
I'm seeing it looks like they are shaking hands.
Do you notice all three individuals are looking at her hands?
Ms. Alexandra, I have not stopped you, but at some point you will come to the point. The witness says it looks like a handshake. So I hope you can suggest that it is more than that, or you can show that it is more than that. Because it should not be a matter of speculation, you know.
We will, Your Honor. At this point, Your Honor, all we want the witness to do is to make an observation as to what she's seeing happening in the photograph.
And she says it looks to her like a handshake, and that looks like it too. So maybe you have something else you haven't yet shown in the photos.
And the next question I asked Your Honor was, does she see that all the three individuals are looking at the hands of the ambassador in David Koros' hands? That's what I wanted to observe. The focus of that picture, Your Honor. Do you see that, madam?
According to me, I'm not seeing anything, but I'm seeing hands.
And do you see the three people, Mr. Koros, the ambassador, and the man next to her, all looking at her hands?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this stage, could we request that these two photographs be marked for identification?
They will be so marked.
Le document.
Court officer, document Ken D09 0036 0156 will be marked MFI T D09 00213. Documents Ken D09 0036 0157 will be marked MFI T D09 00214. These two documents are public.
Madam, did you know that on that day, what the ambassador was handing over to Mr. Koros very discreetly was in fact money? Did you hear that?
No.
Madam, Mr. Ken Wafula, he was also engaging in the same witness protection activities as Mr. Koros, wasn't he?
He was.
And his witness protection activities was also being funded by the US aid, correct?
I didn't know about that one.
Did you know that Mr. Ken Wafula was receiving money from US aid and other organizations to fund activities by CHRD?
I never knew.
Ms. Allegand,